El-Rufai has come out and alleged that when he came to Nigeria, that the NSA chairman basically gave an order to arrest him, even though there was no previous invitation. There's also an allegation that the NSA chairman's phone was tapped and was caught giving orders for him to be arrested. And it's unbelievable that the phone of a national security advisor of Nigeria will be tapped and no one is saying anything about it. So does that mean there are a lot of people listening to insider information or listening to privileged information that could put Nigeria into big problem?
Yeah. If everything El-Rufai said is true, I think it's very damaging to the administration, especially with the tapping of the phone. If a whole head of a security agency's phone is being tapped and listened to by private citizens, there is a problem. Then it means that nobody is safe in Nigeria, including the president himself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Y&E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage with us in the comment section. So we're chatting about the ongoing dispute between the Nigerian Security Agency advisor, NSA advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and also the former governor of Kaduna State, Natil El-Rufai. And it looks like both of them have been going at it for a few minutes. We know that when President Tinubu appointed Nasir El-Rufai or nominated him for a position as a minister, it was the only person that didn't pass the interview. It was the only one that was denied or rejected by the Nigerian Senate. And it looks like with that, it believes that someone is out to get him because he had served as a minister under, I believe it was President Buhari, and now he's looking to serve under President Tinubu, and he's not able to do it. So it looks like there's some infighting going on between Nuhu Ribadu's team and also and El-Rufai's team. And El-Rufai has come out and alleged that when he came to Nigeria, that the NSA chairman basically gave an order to arrest him, even though there was no previous invitation from the NSA to El-Rufai. There's also an allegation that the NSA chairman's phone was tapped and was caught giving orders for him to be arrested. And it's unbelievable that the phone of a national security advisor of Nigeria will be tapped and no one is saying anything about it. So does that mean there are a lot of people listening to insider information or listening to privileged information that could put Nigeria into big problem?
Yeah. If everything El-Rufai said, if everything he said is true, I think it's very damaging to the administration, especially with the tapping of the phone. If a whole head of a security agency's phone is being tapped and listened to by private citizens, there is a problem. Then it means that nobody is safe in Nigeria, including the president himself. None of us is safe. I think that is indicting to the NSA chairman. We are waiting for him. He has a right of reply according to the person that conducted the interview. If you feel otherwise, if you feel like El-Rufai is lying, he can, book a section and then go back to that station or any station for that matter to debunk whatever he said, especially with the tapping of the phone. Will he admit it? That is probably not going to happen. And if it indeed it happened, did the NSA boss report it to the chain of command? We know that he's the boss, but he's not the boss. So did they report it to the chain of command and then, to inform them that it looks like his conversation is being listened to? And then who else has also been listening to his conversation? Is there any conclusion to be drawn about the general that was killed in the line of fire? So could it have been that, somebody, was also listening to conversations about his coordinate? So this is very damaging. We know that El-Rufai is fighting like a wounded lion. He feels like he should be compensated with an appointment, of which Tinubu should have compensated him with an appointment. He really worked for Tinubu. He was there. He campaigned for him. He did everything for him. If they said there was a security concern about him, maybe they should have given him something else, but ensure that they keep him in the fold But now El-Rufai is just going all the way loud. In fact, he's daring the presidency, daring everybody. Maybe they should arrest him. And I don't think it would be a very good idea for for federal government to arrest him, because that will definitely, cause the North to rise up against the administration. And I don't think Tinubu is ready for that. So it looks like they just have to deal with him, with some kind of caution so that he doesn't do damages to the administration.
I see what you're saying and I hear everything you're saying, but does it mean that anyone can just get a job with the federal government provided you've done the president's bidding, provided you campaign for them and you did some insider work for them in order to get elected? Shouldn't the country be running or putting people in positions that are qualified, people that have the capacity to deliver results in those positions? I'm not going to say I don't know how things work, but I do know for a fact that if we want that country to move forward, we need to start looking into people with capacity and people that are able to deliver results. El Rufai has been a governor in the past. What was his record as a governor? Did he deliver for his people? He's been a minister under previous presidents. So why didn't he get passed? Why are they trying to attack him, or why are they trying to bring him to books? Is it because they're prepping for the future and they're trying to restrict what he can do? If he's guilty of all those allegations, then maybe they need to, take him to court, go through the process and convict him. I'm not in support of anything he's done. In fact, I don't even know him. But at the same time, we really need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be honest with the government of the day. It looks like they just find a way to put their friends and family in positions and don't really care about the country. And there was also a report recently that the president and the vice president, they spent over 34 billion on travel alone. That's a lot of money. And there are other parts of the government that don't have enough money, don't have enough resources to take care of the people. We know that in most states in Nigeria, teachers are not being paid on time. Some retirees are not getting the money that they deserve, the pension that they've worked for over the years. They're not getting it. They're having to protest. They're having to go back and forth with respective state governors before things are getting done. So if we're truly interested in, pushing this country forward, then we need to start getting into people with capacities. Am I saying the former governor of Kaduna State does not have the capacity? No, he's been in position of leadership in the past, and the president needs to look at his record, and the people in the Senate, they need to look at his record and determine if he is truly the right guy for the job. But again, I want us to start looking ahead. I want us to start changing our mindset on a lot of things. If we're truly interested in making Nigeria work, jobs shouldn't just be for cabals. It should be for people that are qualified and have the capacity to do the job. That's my take.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that you are describing a utopia society, perfect society. You are discussing what should be, but that is not what is obtainable in Nigeria. Even in America, even elsewhere around the world, it's almost difficult, you know, to see politicians putting people that are actually qualified in position of authority or in charge of anything. They always try to put their loyalists, people that are close to them. A case in point is the relationship between Trump and Steve Miller. Steve Miller is advisor to the president. I bet you there are a lot of people, almost 1,000 people that can do that job better. If you listen to the hearing that was conducted 2 days ago in the House on Pembondi, the Attorney General of the Federation, you can almost come to the conclusion that this person doesn't fit this role. He doesn't fit the role. Look at the Secretary of is he Health and Human Services? Kennedy? Kennedy is a lawyer. Kennedy is not a doctor. He's not a scientist. But they put him there. Is he qualified for that position? Hell no, he's not qualified. So that is the situation of things almost everywhere in the world. Politicians are not known to put people that are eminently qualified in positions. Even the Ribadu that is in charge of NSA, what is his record? Being a ESCC chairman? I don't think
Hey, bro,
he has.
let me interrupt you for a minute. You know that we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to America. America has been in business for over 250 years. And Nigeria is barely 66 years old and we're still struggling. America has a functioning structure. They have a functioning system. Even if you put a dummy in the position of leadership, the system will still do its thing. The system will work for the people. But in Nigeria, we have no system. We have no leadership. It looks like the blind is leading the blind and we don't have anywhere we're going. I mean, the people in power, they're doing their best, but it looks like there's so much systemic problems that are stopping people from going where they need to go or stopping them from delivering. And, corruption is one of the main systemic problems. And I was thinking about it today that, why don't we trust each other? When you go to Nigeria, you're looking over your shoulders because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't trust your neighbors. You don't trust the people on the street. Why is that? It's because of poverty, right? There's too much poverty in the land and everyone is looking for a way to get over on the other side. They're looking for a way to, outsmart the other guy. So there's so much corruption, there's so much insecurity. It all boils down to corruption and it boils down to lack of good governance. If people have food to eat, if they have a little bit of money in their pocket, they won't have to steal, they won't have to kidnap, they won't have to kill people. But this is part of the problem. It's a systemic problem. I don't think we're ready to solve it right now with the crux of leaders that we have right now. I was looking at their hearing in the Senate on internet, and I'm like, we are not ready for a change. I don't think anything is going to change in the next few years. So we should not be comparing ourselves with a functioning system, with a structure that has been in place for 250 years, and we're barely 66 years old. We can't feed ourselves. We can't provide 24-hour electricity. So we should not be comparing ourselves to America.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But unfortunately, I don't think even if you have a system in place, and you put a dummy there, sometimes they will take their time to mess up the place before the system will do self-correction. In fact, in some cases, the system may not even correct itself. It may not be able to correct itself if there are other people backing the person that is not, qualified in that position. Case in point, Pete Hegseth. He was just a captain in the army. But today he's leading the Department of War. Shouldn't somebody that is a general be leading that department? Trump's first administration, he was a HR McMaster. He was a 3-star general before star general, leading it. And they were not blowing up boats in the Caribbean, you see? So you cannot just put a dummy just because you have a system to correct itself and expect a perfect result. So going back to Nigeria, I think El-Rufai has the experience. He has been a technocrat, FCT minister under, I think, Obasanjo, and was a governor for 8 years. He has all the requisite, all the qualification to be a minister. What happened was politics. Politics just got in the way. People did not want him to become a minister. But I think that was Tinubu made a grave mistake to have not compensated him with another 10. I think he should even went ahead and compensated him with ambassadorial appointment, because I think El-Rufai is capable of doing big damage to this administration. El-Rufai is a religious fanatic. He's just like Buhari. He can speak to the north, and then the north will congregate. That is why you see that this is probably the second or the third time that he's granted an interview, and there has not been a response to any of his interviews. So probably they don't want to go into the gutter with him because they probably know that he will win and do a lot of damages to them. But I think this is a lesson for politicians. If somebody has helped you, just in the case of Rivers State, that everybody is calling the governor an ingrate. If somebody has helped you politically, in fact, there is no free help. Nobody renders you help freely in politics. If you are running for an office and people are congregating to work for you, nobody is doing it just working for you because they like you or they like your face. They are doing it because they are expecting some kind of appointment, some kind of compensation, some kind of placement. But if after helping you get into power and you snub them and you begin to, pick people that were never there for you, that did not get into the trenches with you, I think is enough reason for somebody like El-Rufai to be crying foul. And I think he has a very legitimate concern. This is a lesson to politicians. With the case of the Ministry of Health, allegedly, I think they earmarked about 200 and something billion, and they only received 36 million. I'm still trying to understand, that scenario, what happened, because even the 36 million naira is not enough to buy stationery.
Yeah,
for
it's if you
that
think
medical.
about it, it's just 1 million for each state because we have 36 states. So 1 million for them to do their project. That's their
Oh, definitely. I mean, is ridiculous considering how much they are reporting that Tinubu and his VP have spent so far in sourcing for forex. For their travel. About 2 years period, close to 34 billion naira. That 34 billion can almost build like one secondary school in each state, and equip them and make them like one standard secondary school, build one standard secondary school across the 36 states. And that was what somebody, two people spent on travel. There may be other expenses that was not included, other things that were not included, but 34 billion, a bit 36 billion is a lot of money. So why are they just releasing only 36 million for the capital project for the Ministry of Health? I think it's a big concern. I think this is the time for them to redirect their attention to our health sector. Our health sector, our educational sector should be receiving the utmost priorities, but unfortunately, it does look like that is not what is important to this administration. Yeah. Let us know what you think about the administration releasing only 36 million as against a 200 and something billion for Ministry of Health for their capital project. For me, I think that is a bit low for the administration, but we would like to hear from you, and we'll be happy to engage between the comment section.